What is going on, garden fans? Welcome back to the Permaculture Homestead. I have been furiously planting back here. It seems spring is a little early, but today I wanted to take you over to the Permaculture Project Farm at Locklairs and show you what's growing on. If you're not already, please hit that subscribe button, tap the notification bell, and come on back. Enjoy the journey. Okay, garden fans, this is a pretty large property and I won't be able to show you everything growing on, but I'm going to do my best to kind of go from bottom to top and show you what's growing on right now. We are currently growing on about a ½ acre on the side of a hill in Gaston, South Carolina. We do have 4 swales dug on this hill. This spillway that follows the natural pathway is where our 4 swales drain to. And our bottom swale and paddy, you can see a lot of green growing on right now. This is our fall cover cropping. And what we have is a clover and vetch and carrot and radish cover cropping that is currently providing nitrogen, and just this huge biomass is accumulating right now that's going to help all our main crops. Right here we have a blueberry. As you can see, it is starting to bud out. And we've got quite a few blueberries here on our bottom swale. It is very clay soil at the bottom, a little bit more acidic at the bottom of the hill than at the top of the hill. So we tried to put our water-loving, acid-tolerant plants down here, like blueberries. And of course we've got some mayhaws also down here at the bottom. Pretty low maintenance plants. They can handle pretty poor conditions as well. On our bottom swale, we have figs growing on the swale mounds. They're doing their best to kind of buffer these swales and hold them together. On the bottom side of the swale, we have nitrogen fixation in the form of goumyberry or autumn olive. And we also have pawpaws here. So everything is companion planted. Of course, we have some comfrey here. I want to give a big thanks to Sean at Edible Acres, who provided us with that comfrey last season. This entire bottom swale, though, is kind of set up in a you pick, you pull operation where people can walk down the swales, the swale pathways with a basket and kind of fill it up with food from either side. Here's a real wet part of the swale where I've got a lot of elderberry and wild blackberry as an understory. This is the thorny type variety. We don't mind, we let the wild stuff grow. It's super low maintenance and does provide us a yield. So let me back up, move up the hill a bit, and I will show you our second swale paddy. The soil here is starting to get a little bit better. It's a little less acidic and a little bit more rich. And we've got a bigger variety of plants growing. So this is a jujube right here. We also have some pomegranate as well. Hasn't yet budded out. And once again, you can see the cover crops just kind of crawling up our pomegranate right now. It is a little warm right now at this time of the year. Usually our last frost date is March the 15th. So our soft fruits and stone fruits like our apricots are already starting to flower out and bud out. We have some plums that are also flowering out. I'll show you those later. We've also got some fall veggies growing. So we have all types of brassicas, we have kale, we've got collards, and broccoli growing on the swale mounds on this second swale. So there's always some type of yield, something growing, and it's all edible. That's the goal here. Once again, I've got this wet part of this paddy where the swales are super close together. So I've once again put some elderberry and an understory of those thorny wild blackberries. But we also grow cultivated varieties of blackberries as well. So further on up this swale paddy, we've got some of the thornless blackberries. And the goal here is that these blackberries are going to eventually be the dominant understory species to all of our fruit trees. Once again, let me back up. Now we're getting to our third swale paddy. It's a little bit larger still and even better soil than at the bottom of the hill. And now we're getting into our mixed fruit and nuts up here. This is a pineapple guava. Really nice plant. It should be a good understory here. They grow well in Zone 8, our Mediterranean environment. And this is one that I'm super impressed with. We've got some sea berry growing. Can't really see that one there, but I got a sea berry right here I'll show you. And they are starting to bud out. So I'm really surprised that I was able to get sea berry growing and established here in Zone 8. I saw a lot of mixed reviews about that online. People said that it might not work, but sure enough, we got them budding out. This is a goji berry, companion planted with comfrey, of course, and then another apricot tree. So you can kind of see the theme here. Our apricots are budding out once again, but we do try to companion plant every tree with some support species that are hopefully edible. Here is another sea berry starting to bud out. So I'm got a lot of hope and promise for these sea berries that they're going to kind of blow out this year, and maybe in the next year or two provide us with a yield. Sea berry is super helpful for you, super healthful as well. On the bottom side of this swale patty, we've got thornless blackberries once again, and they're planted about every foot apart. And they're right in arm's reach. So if you were walking down the swale, you once again would be able to reach over and kind of just fill your basket full of blackberries. And that's the goal here eventually with this project, is that it becomes a you pick, you pull operation for people. This is a plum tree in full flower in February on the 18th. And honestly, this has got me kind of worried because once again, our last frost is in March. So I'm hoping that we don't get any more frosty temperatures, and maybe we might actually get a yield this year. So here's one of our nut trees. It's an all-in-one almond. It too is starting to leaf and bud out. It's companion planted with, once again, some gumi berry, autumn olive. And yes, they are budding out. And in just 1 year, these autumn olive have gotten huge. They've almost overtaken the trees that they are planted with, but once again, we're just not too worried about that. We're going to be using them as chop and drop that give us nitrogen fixation and a yield. As a ground cover to our trees and nuts, we have alpine strawberries, which are super hardy for Zone 8. So you see in this 3 by 3 foot area, we got a nut tree, we got gumi berry, we've got strawberries, and we've got companion plants to help them all out. So this is the theme here at Locklairs. Here's another seedling pecan. Once again, more alpine strawberries as a ground cover. And we try to represent every layer of a food forest. So we have our trees, we have our shrubs, we have our ground covers, we have our herbs. And this year we're going to be adding more root crops. And hopefully in the years to come we'll be able to add some vining layer to these trees once they have gotten a little bigger and a little bit more established. There are some wild grasses out here. We let them grow. Here's another all-in-one almond starting to bud out. It too has alpine strawberries and comfrey and more autumn olive with it. And my hope here is that one day we have this huge nut overstory with these nitrogen fixing shrubs at the base of the trees that actually provide us a yield as well. So in a small space, we're trying to get multiple yields. We're trying to plant a lot of different trees and plants out here. And here you see a Chinese chestnut once again. So we're building this polyculture of plants in the hope that if any one fails, we have backups. And there will always be some type of food growing. So our topsoil patty here also has some hazelnuts growing. We do have some mulberries out here that I hadn't shown you yet, but there's a lot of trees growing out here and it's really hard to see them and tell what's going on right now. This project is going into its 2nd year and I'm really happy and I'm filled with promise as to what's to come, because I know that right now it looks like a couple sticks in the ground, but eventually it's going to be a sprawling food forest. I want to end here just giving you an overhead shot of the whole project, so you can kind of see the vastness of it. And I want to thank you all for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe as always, garden fans. God bless.